Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of this great game, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Hope you guys are well. So I've just seen there's a little quest tipster here. So does anyone need help?
If there's anyone around here who could use my help?
Aye, there could be something for you. Go see Herman, the executioner. Long as you got the stomach for dealing with a fellow that's cursed.
So off we head to see Herman, the executioner, to see what problem he has and if we can solve it. And it turns out he's not a happy chappy.
The folk in town are talking about you.
They shat on me, that's what.
What? Who did?
All of them.
It turns out that they caught these three notorious criminals, a Peter of Dauber, a George Weiss, and a fella named Harold. And now these three criminals are going to be executed. But the reason Herman is not happy is because they've decided to give the job of executing these three criminals to Executioner Heinz of Gutenberg.
Folk will come from miles around to watch.
Well, that's a good thing for you, isn't it?
It would be, if I was fucking doing it.
So, naturally, we agree to help Herman. And after a few terrible ideas, Herman comes up with a plan to sabotage the executioner's equipment. We needed to do some groundwork first, though.
Find out from the bailiff what their crimes are, and then have a look in the Black Chronicle at the Rat House. It goes back before my time. You're bound to find records of some similar offenders in it. You need to find people who committed the same crimes, and came from the same sort of background, noble or lowborn. That way you can find out what the appropriate punishments are. Then come back to me, and we'll work out what to do.
I'll get moving.
Good day to you.
Good day to you too. So I hear there's going to be an execution here.
I hear there's going to be a big execution here.
There certainly is. It'll be a glorious event for our town. They'll be talking about it for years.
Who's for the chop?
The biggest outlaws and reprobates for miles around. Peter of Dauber, George Weiss, and Frost Harold.
What did they do?
What didn't they do, more like? They caused trouble all over the country.
So Peter of Dauber, what did he do?
Who's this Peter of Dauber?
A noble who lost his fortune. He's been holding up merchants for months.
That's all?
At first, but then his gang started getting bloodthirsty. They wiped out a whole squad that was hunting them. He won't walk away from this.
Okay, now what about Frost?
What can you tell me about Harold?
They call him Frost because he's always cool as ice. Until he starts. I've seen plenty of killers and thugs in my day, but that one's got the devil in him.
Why?
They say the only thing that'll put a smile on his face is the sound of screaming and weeping. That beast kills for pleasure. When they caught him, he had a candle made from the arm of an infant. For luck, he said.
What?
Christ.
Oh my god, so that Frost is a horrible piece of work. And what about this Weiss?
What about Weiss?
No one actually knows where he came from, but they say the murdering started with him. He never leaves witnesses. He'd rather wipe out a whole village than take a chance.
So now we know what each of these boys did, we need to find this Black Chronicle book and have a read of it and have a look at similar crimes and the sentence carried out. Jan the Miller of Pakov told that with Janek Zak of Posh. After reading of similar crimes and their sentences, we can now determine that Peter of Debau, the nobleman, needs a quick death by chopping his head off. George Weiss, the commoner, will be hanged. And the evil Frost Harold needs a slow, painful, torturous death. So off we go back to Herman to tell him.
Peter of Dauber has many murders on his soul, but he's still a nobleman.
Maybe he's for the chop? Let's try that. Maybe he should have the chop. Just a quick, clean death. Because he is a nobleman.
His neck is going on the block.
That makes sense. His crimes are great, but he's still a nobleman. So he gets an honorable death.
Now, George Weiss, he just was a mass murderer.
George Weiss is a bloodthirsty bastard who left a trail of corpses behind him.
Maybe he should just be hanged. He just should be hanged, I think.
He hasn't earned an honourable death. He's for a long drop on a short rope.
A murderer deserves nothing better. That makes sense.
And Frost Herald was a horrible son of a bitch, who killed children as well.
Frost Herald is the worst of them all, sent by Satan himself. The things he's done would make a demon blanch.
What's the worst death? Drowned? Burial alive, that's horrible. Maybe he should be tortured first.
The executioner will take his time with that one. He'll be begging to die. If I read correctly, it'll start with ripping the flesh.
Oh,
Aye, could be. He deserves nothing better.
So, have we got everything we need?
We've covered all the possibilities. There's nothing more we can think up.
so the plan.
An executioner's greatest boast is to behead with one blow. That's why an executioner's sword needs to be a splendid piece of craftsmanship and sharp as a razor.
So the plan for the blade was to steal it, dull it on a grinding stone, and then return it.
Sword. With ripping of the flesh, the bastard has to suffer, but survive as long as possible.
And for the torturous death, the executioner was going to rip the flesh off Harold, whilst keeping him alive as long as possible. We were going to poison the ripping tongs so Harold would die quickly.
What about the hanging?
If the rope breaks when it's done, it's an unbelievable disgrace for the executioner. Folk see it as the will of God, and sometimes he even has to let the condemned man go.
So the plan for the hanging rope was to swap it with a crappy old rotten rope that Herman has.
I've got an old rope here I don't use anymore. It looks fine, but it's rotten. It'll be perfect.
For this quest, we need to poison the tongs with bane poison. We could also use bane poison on some meat to feed the dogs of the executioner. This way, we can be all sneaky without the dogs waking the executioner up. So we head to an alchemy bench in Rattay to do some. So to make bane potion, we need wormwood, fly, agaric, and belladonna. Okay, let's confirm that. So what we do, we get some vino, and we whack the vino in the cauldron. I see it, whack a bit of this in, delicious, nice bit of red wine, lovely. And then we add wormwood. So we get one wormwood and we stick that in the cauldron. So we've got a lovely concoction of red wine and wormwood. Now we need to get the bellows working. So that's Q. And while it's bubbling, we need to do 2 turns of the sand glass. So let's turn it now. Right, turn around. Right, that's it. Let's keep the bellows going, keep the fire burning. Right, stop. Get ready to turn the sand glass over. Right, here we go. I'm not going to do the bellows now because it's still bubbling away. Right, now I need this to be completely cooled down at this stage. While that's cooling down, I can get 2 lots of belladonna and I can stick that in the mortar. The pestle and mortar, so it's 1 lot there. Okay, so get another one. Stick that in there. Right, that's done. So let's go and smash that into a lovely light fine powder. And we'll stick that in the cauldron once this here is completely cooled down. Right, I think that's cooled down now, so we can probably chuck that in there. That's it. And now we get a mushroom, one of these fly agarves. We shove that in there, lovely, and then we have to go and get a file. We have to distill it now in this thing here, in this a still. So we get a file. We'll stick it underneath the spout, and we'll have to pour that in there. Turn the fire on, get the bellows going again. That's it. And lovely job, we got some bane potion. There we go, you bring bane potion. So we go to Heinz the executioner's place, and there are 2 people and a dog. So we feed the dog the poison meat and we knock out the 2 people. Right, okay, just knocked him out, we didn't kill him. Right, I've taken off all my armour now, so hopefully I got no noise at all. So we find the rope up the ladder. Right, here we go. Sabotage the rope.
That should do it. It'll never hold the weight of a grown man.
The executioner's sword is in the tent in a trunk, and we looted the key off the executioner earlier. Aha, here's the tongs. Right, sabotage the tongs with Bane Potion.
If he tries to torture anyone with this, the lucky fellow will die quickly.
I get myself to the nearest grindstone, which happens to be in Ratai, and I make the executioner's sword smoke. I dull it so much until the health of the sword gets to 0. Then I go back and return the sword.
Chop the head off a chicken with this.
Right, okay, we've done it all. The following morning, we return back to Herman. Herman, hello. I've got some good news. I've sabotaged
About the
everything.
executions.
Is it done?
Yes, it's done.
Can I let them get on with the execution?
Yes,
now?
you can. Yes.
Yes.
Now all we have to do is go and enjoy the show.
Okay. So the executions are to be held the next day at 2 o'clock by Heinz himself.
Into your hands, Lord, I commend my spirit. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, who redeemed me by his precious blood, have mercy on me and lead me to eternal glory. Amen.
Oh, this is the nobleman. Oh.
What the
Oh. Hacking his head off. So this is the one. This is the torture. Then this is the Iceman. So they're covered in that dog bane, not dog bane, just bane. You'd be like, huh? What's he die for? And then the hanging, and then the rope's going to break. Oh, that hacking the head off though. Oh, it's a daisy. That didn't work out well, did it? Huh? Oh dear. Where's Herman there? I can't see Herman. Hello, Herman.
Did you see that? An utter disgrace.
It certainly was. The executioner couldn't hold his head high after that.
True. The whole crowd was looking forward to it, and right at the start he fucked up the beheading. And then he took the tongs and... and the fellow kicked the bucket right away. Jesus, how...
Different sense of humour back then, I think.
and then furious as a rabid dog. Furious, he grabs the last one. And he wasn't even able to hang him.
Yeah, funny that was. Especially the beheading bit.
I'll be forever grateful to you, Hal. You saved my job, and you deserve a reward for it.
Thank you.
What'd you get us? Recipe for Lazarus potion. Oh, we got an achievement as well. How much should we get? Right. We done it. Money for a rope. Thank you very much. Oh, 400 groschen. Okay. We got a book as well. Yeah, it wasn't a bad quest. It was a pretty original quest. I didn't find the humour, though, in the beheading. That was all very bit gross. Anyway, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. And if you have, then please leave a like. And I will see you on the next part. See you later. Bye. Ugh, beheading.